What's up, all my freaks and geeks? Welcome back to another video where I got a cool-ass story to tell you. So this is the story of when I drank an entire bottle of mouthwash to get violently drunk, and I puked. I fucking heaved my guts out all over my friend's bathroom. Not bathroom, I meant basement. So, to get a little introduction, me and B, that's what we'll call him. Me and B, we're pretty close friends, you know, he's probably the dude that I've smoked with the most, you know, carts, the most fucking, not really bud. I don't really smoke bud with that many people, because it's kind of inconvenient for all my friends, because we all got, like, strict friends. We aren't, like, strict parents. We aren't, like, impoverished or anything like that. We aren't living in the trenches, okay? So, we're not living in the trenches, right? So we got nice suburban parents, and nice suburban parents own mouthwash because they like to keep their teeth nice and white. Look at them pearly beiges. Anyway, so we're just like sitting in his room, you know, playing some Fortnite, you know, hitting the cart. You know, I didn't ask, but we were given some Little Caesars, you know, a lot of it, in fact. I remember the pizza order exactly, because, you know, despite my violent drug use, I have a very good memory. We got one pepperoni pizza, full sauce, another pepperoni pizza, light sauce, because our parents don't really like sauce. Then we got a Hawaiian pizza, and just a mushroom pizza. And can I say that mushrooms are fucking disgusting? Unless they get me fucking tripped out of my mind. Alright, let me just say that. So me and my dude, right, we're just, you know, sitting, playing some Fortnite, you know, having a decent, you know, jolly, fun old time. And, you know, it's just some shit that, like, you know, like, you would do with your friends in high school. Anyway, so we're just sitting there, and I tell him, I'm like, so, you know, mouthwash will get you drunk. And it took no hesitation for him to be like, yo, dude, my mom's got a whole bottle of mouthwash in the fucking cabinet. And I'm like, say less, dude. Go grab that shit. And with no hesitation, no thoughts. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Or, oh, maybe, you know, this is a little wrong. You know, this is my mom's mouthwash. Bro goes and grabs his mom's mouthwash. And I gotta say, I respect it entirely. I get where he's coming from. You know, like, you got your friend over, you're trying to get fucked up, and you found out a way that you could get fucked up. And so he just grabs it, and he takes one shot of this shit, and he looks at me with the most disgusted look on his face, like, fucking ew, because he hates mint. Otherwise known as, like, pussy shit. He's on pussy shit, but, you know, it's whatever, man. More mouthwash for me. So, we smuggle the whole thing down there, wait for his parents to go to sleep. We're playing Fortnite, we're on Omegle, and so I'm just downing this mouthwash, right? And this mouthwash is going absolutely crazy on the back of my throat. This shit is fucking gross. Like, and it, like, at first, it's like, nice and smooth, because I don't mind the flavor of mint, you know what I mean? Like, the flavor of mint is not inherently bad by any means necessary, but mouthwash, not very tasty, especially because it gets spicy, or, like, it starts to burn after a while. And so I'm just drinking this shit, you know, I'm not necessarily feeling it all the way, but then I get down to the bottom of the bottle, and this has always been my problem with alcohol. I don't give it enough time to metabolize, so I've never really been that much of a drinker. You know, it's fun when I want to get fucked up. How about that? When I want to get fucked up, I'll fuck with alcohol, but usually I'm not the type to even, you know, consider drinking alcohol. You know, just as, like, my first choice. I don't think I could ever see myself going out and being like, yo, I want to buy a bottle of liquor. Not my style. And so, anyway, I'm just downing this shit, So we're playing a game, and it's just like, yo, every time that you die in Fortnite, you gotta take a shot of that shit. And I'm just like, fuck it. So I'm doing that for most of the bottle, and then I get towards the bottom, and then, I just sip on it normally. And anyway, so I'm starting to feel nice and surprisingly very drunk. Well, not surprisingly, because it was like 21% alcohol. And I drank a whole bottle of 21% alcohol, technically. So obviously that's going to get anyone fucked up. But I was fucked up. Like, I'm talking fucking geeked, dude. Like, I was insane. I was like, and I'm surprised I didn't puke up any of my fucking Little Caesars anytime before then. Because this shit was nasty. Anyway, so, like, we're playing some Fortnite, and it kind of gets a little blurry here. Like, I didn't black out or anything, I just don't really remember what was going on. I think we were about to go to bed, we were watching some YouTube, I was laying down, and then I get this feeling like, oh yeah, I'm really about to vomit. And, my motor instincts were impaired, and my logical, rational thinking was also impaired, so I wasn't like, oh, let me go up to the fucking bathroom, and let me ask for a bag. I eventually did ask for a bag once I started heaving. And so I start heaving, I got a little bit of puke out, and, dude's just like, okay, let me go grab the carpet cleaner. And I'm thinking, fuck, I feel bad, but this is manageable. I can get through this. And so he gets the carpet cleaner. I start scrubbing the carpet because I don't want him cleaning up my puke, because that's my puke, right? And it's on his blankets and shit. So this is like, this is some pretty shitty friend shit that I did. But he let me, so, it's his fault. My fault too, but it's partly his too. He could have said, no, dude, you can't drink my mom's fucking mouthwash. But anyway, so, like, B's just like, yo, dude, I gotta run up and grab a fucking, I gotta tell my mom. And I'm like, yo, you do not have to tell your mom. And I'm figuring, like, oh, he's gonna tell his mom in the morning after I go to sleep. And I'm like, yo, dude, this is a completely manageable thing. We could just clean this up. Because it wasn't that much vomit. Like, I had kept most of it in. And I was just, like, puking on the sides of my mouth where I couldn't keep it in with my hand and swallow it back up. And so there's just a little bit of chunkage and a little bit of vomit on the ground. So, like, manageable, like I said. Completely cleanable on my own. There was a little bit on the blankets. That just throw them bitches in the fucking washer and dryer. And, you're spick and span, dude. You're chilling. There was a little bit on the ottoman. I could have cleaned that off. That's just fabric. We had carpet clean. Like, good carpet cleaner, too. That shit was bon appetit. Like, I'm not usually a carpet cleaner type of guy, but, ooh, baby, I needed that carpet cleaned, and that carpet got cleaned. Anyway, so, like, he goes upstairs with the blankets. I'm figuring, okay, he's gonna go put these in, like, the washer or something. And apparently his mom's still up at this point, which was kind of retarded of me to do. And it's whatever. So, anyway, he goes up, and then he comes down with his mom, and I'm shirtless. And before then, when he had come down with his mom, they went back up for a second. I don't know what for. And I started, like, kind of heaving again. Now, I had kept all this puke down. I was fine then. But he comes down with his mom. And his mom, like, she could tell I was fucked up. Or I don't think she could tell I was fucked up. I'm pretty sure she thought I was just, like, very sick at first. Because, I was just puking a little, I had sobered up a little bit, and I was just like, oh, dude. Oh, like a cold sweat. Like what anybody who had, like, a stomach bug would look like. Like, grumbly, my stomach hurts, I need to go home. But I didn't tell her that I needed to go home, because I told her, oh, I'm feeling a lot better. And, I was feeling a lot better. I just went home, and I went to bed right after. I didn't puke at all anymore. And so she doesn't smell anything on me. Otherwise I smelled minty fresh or something. You know, she must have just thought, this kid has a nice minty cologne on. But she didn't comment at all on the way, like, that I smelled or anything. What she did comment on was a lighter that had fallen out of my pocket somehow. Hey, listen. This thing had little bits of resin, like, from, like, a fucking bowl at the bottom where I had been scraping. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, she got me busted. But I'm like, no worries, you know, I'm a genius, obviously. I drink mouthwash. And so I'm just like, oh, dude, I burn sage. It's very spiritual, you know, it gets rid of the bad entities. Which I have burned sage before, but it doesn't get you geeked. So, I don't burn it very often. And so she's just like, yo, get in the car, you know, I'm gonna take you home. Which she could have just called my dad was already willing to come, but I just didn't tell her that. I was like, yo, take me home, country roads. And so she fucking takes me home. And, like, it is a quiet car ride. And I'm just sitting there like this the whole time. And I'm just like, yo, thank you for the ride. I'm sorry. Like, it won't happen again. And it probably won't happen again. Because the next day, I get a text from my friend. And I'm like, yo, did your mom buy that shit? Because, like, listen. I knew she wasn't buying my excuse. But, like, it was all I could come up with at the time. And he was like, no, dude. She thought you were on hard drugs. And alcohol is a hard drug. And people won't tell you that. But she thought I was on, like, heroin or crack or something. Which, I don't know why. I wasn't really geeking like that. I wasn't, you know, like, wired out of my mind. But, yeah, so that's the story of how I drank Listerine. And I puked everywhere. Thanks for watching.